Khalik Sheikh Mohammed described the design of planned attacks on buildings inside the U.S. and how operatives were directed to carry them out. He told us the operatives had been instructed to ensure that the explosives went off at a point that was high enough to prevent people trapped above from escaping.
There has been a third explosion in the area of the World Trade Center. There was first one plane that hit one of the Twin Towers, a second plane each about 1 hour ago, and now a third explosion. Ashley Banfield is in Manhattan. Ashley, did you see or hear anything just moments ago?
Oh my God, Chris, this is incredible. Okay, I'm looking right at it.
What are you seeing, Ashley?
Well, I saw the explosion for one.
Did you feel it?
Everybody, I can smell it. Everyone around screamed at the time that happened. It's just unbelievable. I can't see that it's another building. It looks almost in the same position as the second bomb or the second explosion. But it's unbelievable.
What's the scene around you? What are people doing?
Most people, as I said earlier, are absolutely aghast.
Are they running?
No one's running. No, I'm not close enough at this point to be seeing that. I wouldn't be showered with debris from my position here. I'm too far north of it, but I have a bird's eye view of what's happening. And this is the route that I'm on is the emergency route right now, so all of the emergency vehicles are streaming past us. But as I was looking up, I saw the entire explosion. It looked exactly like the first two. Unbelievable, and everyone who watched it around me screamed. It was just a chorus of "Oh my God" from everyone standing around. I'm walking, so what I'm hearing are a lot of people whose cars are parked who got their radios tuned to the local news stations and trying to catch up on just exactly what's happening. But now I'm seeing people running. But I don't think I really don't think that they're running from the area. We're too far away to be in, a direct line of any debris. But we certainly had the most perfect vantage point for that explosion. It was unbelievable. And the smoke now is so thick. It's just incredible.
And some people were... Jamie, I need you to stop for a second. There has just been a huge explosion. We can see a billowing smoke rising. And I'll tell you that I can't see that second tower. But there was a cascade of sparks and fire, and now it looks almost like a mushroom cloud explosion, this huge billowing smoke in the second tower. This was the second of the two towers hit. And I cannot see behind that smoke, obviously, as you can either. The first tower in front has not changed, and we see this extraordinarily and frightening scene behind us of this second tower, now just encased in smoke. What is behind it, I cannot tell you. But just look at that. That is about as frightening a scene as you will ever see.
We're not sure exactly what happened, but there was another explosion on the far side of one of the buildings from where we're standing. The reverberation and another explosion on the right-hand side. Another building has gone up on the right-hand side of the road. People are now running down the street. We're not sure if that was another explosion or if that was advanced debris.
Oh, it's just coming down, Pat. It is just coming down. It's exploding. It is billowing. Pat, the debris is flying. I'm going to run.
At this point, as you can tell, there's absolute pandemonium in this area because of what had just happened. Exactly what, I can't confirm, but on the far side of the building, there seemed to be another explosion, and also on the right-hand side, there was also another explosion. We're not sure if that was extra reverberation from what happened at the World Trade Center, or if that was an added explosion. At this point, there's a lot of smoke, massive plumes of smoke falling from the building across the street. People that were running down the street or walking are now running away. We don't have any information as far as what the most recent reverberations were, but from 2 blocks away, you can feel what happened.
John, the scene is horrific. One of the 2 towers literally collapsed. I was making my way to the foot of the World Trade Center. Suddenly, while talking to an officer who was questioning me about my press credentials, we heard a very loud blast, an explosion. We looked up, and the building literally began to collapse before us. And I am now standing in a black cloud of smoke. I'm on a payphone on the street right now, and I literally cannot see more than a quarter block away. That's how thick the smoke is. I'm on Murray Street in West Broadway, for those who know Lower Manhattan. Not clear now is why this explosion took place. Is because of the planes that 2 planes dual attacked this morning, or was there some other attack which there has been talk of here on the street?
Again, there has been a second explosion here in Manhattan at the Trade Center. We are getting reports that a part of the tower, the second tower, the one a bit further to the south of us, has collapsed. We are checking on that. What we can tell you is that just in the last several minutes here, 2 or 3 minutes, a second or third, I guess technically, extraordinary event has happened here in Lower Manhattan. You can see this extraordinary plume of smoke that is, or was at least, the second tower, the World Trade Center.
I arrived on the scene about an hour and a half ago, and believe it or not, there was another major explosion. The building itself, literally the top of it, came down, sending smoke and debris everywhere. I had to do all I could to run to get away from all the debris. Me and a number of other people here are trapped in the subway here, in a shoe store, actually trying to get away from most of the debris. It's just an incredible sight.
Do you know if it was an explosion or if it was a building collapse?
To me, it sounded like an explosion. Then the building, the rolling sound sounded like the building collapsed.
Were there other people? There must have been a lot of people on the ground nearby when it happened.
Where that happened, it was mostly law enforcement. I don't think there were many civilians there. I don't know.
Don't move, Pat. How many people would you say were on the ground when the building exploded or collapsed? When the building did collapse or whatever it was that happened, it was a huge explosion, a huge rumbling cloud of smoke and fire came across Church Street and then started billowing this way. The FBI is here, as you can see. They had roped this area off. They were taking photographs and securing this area just prior to that huge explosion that we all heard and felt.
I can only hope that people got out of the area on the sidewalks below the South Tower before it came tumbling down. But it literally exploded and came down as though it had been hit. Plumes of smoke moving out into the harbor. To give you some idea where I am, I'm approximately, 20, 30 blocks from where this latest explosion just happened.
And we were standing here when there was some sort of collapse or explosion, and everyone started running in this direction.
Andrew, when you saw this happen, what did it look like to you at close range? Because to us, it seemed almost like dominoes, going floor by floor by floor.
It was a little difficult at first to figure out what was happening. We heard an explosion. We heard either an explosion or the sound of something making impact. And we were in the middle. I was with news assistant Jason Post, and we were walking down West Street. And when we heard the sound, we whipped around and saw just a buckling of the tower. And it just looked like it collapsed within itself. You could just see the top of the tower collapse. We can't tell what happened to the bottom half of the tower from here.
I would like you to describe one more time what it felt like when that tower collapsed. What did it feel like to you on the ground there?
We were standing probably about 3 blocks away, advancing toward the scene to try and gather some photos and some videotape. And it felt like the entire ground shook. It felt like what it feels like to be in a earthquake. The ground was shaking, followed by plumes and plumes of overwhelming smoke and flying debris, ash and pieces of the building. As the ground was shaking,
Was there sound with this, Nina?
There was a tremendous booming sound, and then it just felt like a rumbling, but it didn't sound like an explosion. It sounded like a loud rumbling, and then the next thing we saw were the streets. So the way the streets looked was just overcome by smoke, just plumes and plumes of smoke, like a bomb had gone off, coming up the street as people were racing to get in front of these clouds of smoke and not doing too good of a job. When the explosion happened, was shooting pieces of the plane. There are pieces of the plane on Church Street.
There's another explosion as we speak.
Seconds before the explosion happened, there was another renewed kind of interest in really getting people away. Because of course, out of curiosity, everyone's trying to get close, everyone's trying to get pictures of the World Trade Center on fire. They started screaming, get back, there's another explosion happening. I guess they were being warned on their radios that the top was going to come down since it was burning for the better part of half an hour. As they screamed to get people back, they started screaming, leave Manhattan if possible, everybody leave Manhattan as possible.
As you can imagine, it is a pretty frenzied scene out here. Just a few moments ago, I'd say about 20 minutes ago, we're not sure exactly what it was, we haven't confirmed it, but something either exploded or fell off the side of the one building that was attacked and caused a massive plume of smoke.
I'm about a block away, and there were several people that were hanging out the windows right below where the plane crashed, when suddenly you saw the top of the building start to shake, and people began leaping from the windows in the north side of the building. You saw 2 people at first plummet, and then a third one, and then the entire top of the building just blew up, and splinters of debris are falling on the street.
John, just seconds ago there was a huge explosion, and it appears right now the second World Trade Tower has just collapsed.
I was right next to the South Tower, about 2 blocks away. It was just a small explosion, and then rocks and debris and everything started pouring down. But we were about 2 blocks away when the second explosion hit, and all we heard was just this small explosion, and we saw a roar of an explosion and all kinds of smoke coming, billowing out, debris falling down, people running, the firefighters and police screaming at everyone to run as the debris was coming down and hitting people.
Good morning again, Pat. I am actually just across from City Hall. I don't have to tell you with that second explosion. The dust did not seem as bad, but it's unbelievable because you hear these explosions. In fact, I just heard another one. I don't know if it was like an after effect or whatnot, just while you were on the phone talking about the school closing. And it wasn't as big, obviously, as the other ones, but it still sent a tremor all the way over here, and obviously on the other side of it, the World Trade Center on the other side of the city. And it's just unbelievable. And then you see... I'm hearing another explosion, just so you know. I'm hearing another rumble. It's not as bad as the other ones were, but I don't know if you have pictures that
We have a picture, and we don't see anything beyond the enormous billows of smoke that have been there, but no additional bursts from our vantage point.
Okay, I didn't mean to interrupt, Sharon.
No.
What you can feel when these tremors come is that it literally comes up under your feet. That's what it feels like. That's the best way I know to describe it.
Well, it looks like a large chunk of that debris has hit a building very close by, about 2 blocks away next to an elementary school, causing another explosion. So as people are coming up the street running from the scene of this new explosion, you can see them slipping on the ash and literally having to drag each other up the street.
You have to understand that when this first happened, they certainly didn't imagine that there would be second or tertiary explosions, so they parked some of their vehicles in those areas, and many of those vehicles, people in those vehicles, have lost their lives.
Well, we just heard another explosion go off a couple of minutes ago, Chris, and saw a bunch more people sort of running this way. A woman on her bike was screaming as it went off, and there was a New York City officer, he's plain clothes, walking by with a radio. I tried to stop him to ask what happened. And all he said was car bomb. And then I couldn't press him for any more information. He said, I have no time for this. And we haven't seen anything since, but the cloud of smoke is still extremely thick around, right around the direct vicinity of the World Trade Center. I am now about, I'd say, what do you say, about 5 or 10 blocks north of it now? About 5 or 10 blocks north of it, and unbelievably, the sun has come out. There's blue sky above us. We started with, sheer blackness. When that cloud of debris and of smoke came at us when the explosion happened, we couldn't see anything. We couldn't breathe. We tried to make our way a few blocks up, and we made contact with some other NBC crew here. Terrifying here, Chris. When that last bomb went, or when that last collapse happened, and the cloud came out, it was like something out of Hollywood. It's really eerie seeing the people who got caught in that blast, because everyone looks like a ghost. About an hour ago, I was on the corner of Broadway and Park Place. That's about 1,000 yards from the World Trade Center. When the first tower collapsed, it was a massive explosion. At the time, the police were trying desperately to evacuate people from the area. When that explosion occurred, it was like the scene out of a horror film.
After the second tower went down, I was trying to make my way to a CBS crew, or to try to help CBS crews if I could. And then, I don't know what it was, John, but another explosion, a rolling blast of fire, a rolling column of fire towards us. If my respect for fire and police already knew no bounds, given the danger, it now exceeds what I thought it could, because a firefighter threw me into the wall of a building, covered me with his body as the flames approached us. And another police officer in New York named Brendan Duke, wherever he is, got me through smoke that neither one of us could see more than about a foot ahead of us. There are still people in there, excuse me, I've breathed a fair amount of soot. The personnel, the police and the fire working in there are doing so against really dangerous odds, and they still don't know if there's something else left to explode, John.
Where were you at the time?
I was, not being a New Yorker, you'll have to help me here. I came around Stuyvesant High School, and that street is North End, and I came up and asked if anyone had seen a CBS crew. And I was directed by a firefighter who said, walk down the middle of the road because you don't know what's going to come down. At which point we heard a rumble like I've never heard before, and a firefighter ran towards me. We ran as fast as we could. I lost my shoes. I fell down. He picked me up and slammed me into a wall and covered me with him until we could make it more to safety.
Was this from the first rolling blast or the second?
John, I looked at my watch. It was about 10:44 is what my watch said. So it was after the second, I think the second tower explosion.
All right, Carol.
The scene was like a ghost town in the financial district, very eerie. You saw people being wheeled on gurneys away from the site of the explosion. Now, at the time, I was back on the corner again of Broadway and Park Place. That time, the police started running toward us, telling everybody to move who was left on the street. I looked up, and that's when I heard the... pardon me. That's when I heard the explosion. That's when the second tower came down. Again.
At that time, maybe 45 minutes into the taping that we were doing, which was maybe a half hour after, it was an explosion. It was way up where the fire was, and the whole building at that point bellied out in flames, and everybody ran.
2 or 3 minutes ago, there was yet another collapse or explosion. But at 11:15, there was another collapse or explosion following the 10:30 collapse of the second tower. The street filled with smoke. It was like a forest fire roaring down a canyon.
I saw a picture in the paper of the World Trade Center when it was on fire, and there was a big cloud of smoke, and it looked like a demon was in that cloud of smoke.
The eerie image many people call Satan in the Smoke was captured in a photograph taken from this very rooftop, just across the river from the spot where the World Trade Center stood that morning. And here it is, taken by Brooklyn photographer Mark Phillips.
People are going to make of this image what they want to. I mean, I believe that the perpetrators of this were evil men. Is there evil exiting the building in my photograph? That's for somebody else to decide.
Nobody in our government, at least, and I don't think the prior government that could envision flying airplanes in the buildings.
Shout out to Alyssa Monsanto. She's dropping a lot of truth bombs over there, yo.
This is just the first chapter.